Did you know that you can actually start a calligraphy business for not that much money, like under $200 in terms of your equipment and supplies? Before we get into the video, I want to let you know that you can get access to 15 free training videos on topics related to how to grow a calligraphy business. So these are training videos that are way more in-depth than these YouTube videos, and they are on topics like how to set up your business, how to start a website for your business, and also how to price your work. As you know, there are so many ways to make money with calligraphy, and I actually have a video about the 10 ways that you can make money with calligraphy. And for this video specifically, I'm going to be covering the supplies that you need to have a handmade and more of a paper-based physical calligraphy business. So if you want to sell things like handmade cards, custom commissions, and hand-dressed envelopes, then make sure you stay until the end of this video because I'm going to be walking you through 6 essential things that you need to get started, and you probably already have a lot of these things at home. So the first thing you need, and probably one of the most important things that you might not have, is a paper cutter or a paper trimmer. When I first started my calligraphy business in 2018, I actually just went to Amazon and bought the cheapest paper trimmer I can find. So you can trim the paper, and then there's also a place where you can score cards. So I did make some handmade cards at first, and then I actually used this paper trimmer as a card scorer. So this one was pretty cool. And then after that, I realized that I actually needed to cut a lot more paper at once, and then the blade wasn't that sharp anymore because you have to manually drag it. So I actually bought a guillotine type of paper cutter, which is so much better. The edges are so much more sharp, and the cuts are so much better. But there is no card scorer, so you either need to get one of those bone card scorers, or you can get a paper cutter with a card scorer. And I've actually linked my favorite paper cutter in the description box. The next thing that you need that is probably going to be really helpful for you in building your calligraphy portfolio is actually getting some nicer envelopes. So don't go to Staples or Walmart and just get the normal white envelopes. You need to get some envelopes that are thicker. So if you go to any kind of specialty paper store, or even there's a ton of places that sell envelopes online, you can get the more premium kind of envelopes. And a good price point, the ones that I buy, are usually 50 cents per envelope. About 30 to 80 cents per envelope, I would say, is a good range. Just don't buy the ones that are 10 cents each. The next thing you need, and you probably already have some of this, is paper. So I would say get a variety of paper, because if you're going to use different kinds of ink, then you probably need different kinds of paper. And also some customers might want different colors or different kind of textures. So what I recommend is getting cardstock paper, which is great if you're gonna do white ink on a black cardstock. I find that works really well. Or gold ink on black cardstock, or some kind of dark cardstock. And then another really great option is watercolor paper. So it's very thick. It's a very nice kind of thickness for a project. It feels very nice. You do have to be careful if you're doing pointed pen on watercolor paper, because the fibers of the paper can catch onto the nib. So that's the only thing to pay attention to. And the next thing is, again, something you probably already have, and that is pens. Now, I actually don't think you need 100 pens to get started in your calligraphy business. You only need a couple basic ones. So the ones I would recommend are the Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip and soft tip brush pens. I'll link them in the description. And there's also the Pentel Fude, which I really like. I think it's called the Fude Touch pen. And there's a lot of other brush pens out there in the market. And if you're just starting out with pointed pen, you probably need a oblique pen holder if you are right-handed, and then a straight pen holder if you are left-handed. And then in terms of the nib, the best one for beginners is the Nikko G nib. And if you can't get access to the Nikko G nib, then you can get the Tachikawa nib or the Zebra nib. They're kind of similar to the Nikko G nib. In terms of ink, I would definitely recommend white, black, and gold. And everything else is kind of, you can just get it, but I don't think it's super necessary. White, black, and gold are actually my top 3 colors that I use in my calligraphy business for custom commissions. Next thing that you need that will be very helpful if you don't have a white table to take photos is just a white poster board that you can get at any dollar store for $1. It's very nice to use as a backdrop for your photos because you can just place the items down, and then maybe you can put some dried flowers and just like other items for the photo shoot, and then just take a picture like that. I don't really recommend taking photos on like a black table or wooden tables, because in your Instagram feed, it just kind of looks a bit messy and dark. So I do recommend like a white background. So either use a white poster board or a white table. And since we're talking about photos, you might be wondering if you need a camera. And I definitely think that you do not need a special camera. You can just use your phone. I only used my phone for the first 2 years in my business. I only bought this camera when I started to do YouTube. I wouldn't have this camera if I weren't filming videos. Honestly, you can get great photos with your phone. And also, if you want to do videos, use your phone if you're doing Instagram Reels or showing things on Instagram Story. And then you can edit things using Snapseed if it's for photos, and then YouCut if it's for video. And these are all apps that are free. Actually, when you're working on your calligraphy business, you might think that you would be doing a lot of like writing on your table, but actually you're gonna use the computer a lot. And I found that when I started to use my computer at work, because at that time I was in my 9-to-5 job still, I was doing calligraphy on the side, my wrist would just get really uncomfortable. And so I bought an ergonomic mouse. And so I've linked that in the description. And honestly, like this has changed my life. It is such a game changer, and it makes just like my wrist so much better. So there is a lot of other things you could get for your business, like packaging supplies, gum arabic, wax seals. There's so much that you could get, but I think if you just start off with these basic things, you can get started, get up and running, and then as you go, you can buy things as you need them. Ooh, one thing I forgot to mention is that having some frames, if you are posting custom commission pieces on your portfolio, is going to be so helpful. Even if you're just doing practice, so let's say you have something like this, you wrote out something and you want to take a picture of it. If you have a frame, so you can just buy a couple of frames in different sizes, like black, white, and gold or something in like 5x7 and 8x10 size, use that when you take pictures on your white poster board, because it's gonna make your products look like a finished product. So you can just take it with the paper on the poster board, but it looks so much more polished if you have it inside of a frame like this and you take a picture. Now, if you're thinking, okay, Dina, so I can get started with my calligraphy business for under $200 buying these things like the paper cutter, the frames, the white poster board, the cardstock, the pens, the watercolor paper, and everything. Okay, $200, that's actually very good. I do also want to mention that you need to register your business. So there will be some costs associated with that, or if you need to get any licenses that are required by your municipality or your state. So there's that fee, like the admin registering your business fee. And then eventually, if you want to have a website, the annual subscription cost for a website is about $150. Those two are probably the two other biggest costs that you'll run into right at the beginning of starting your calligraphy business. Just remember, don't buy things that you don't need right now. You can always get things on the go when you need them. If you're finding this video helpful, take a screenshot of this video, add me on Instagram at Dina Calligraphy. I love connecting with my fellow subscribers and my followers, and I would love to shout you out back if you tag me in your story so I can help you get a couple more followers. And if you want to get access to the 15 free training videos, make sure you sign up in the link in the description. So I hope this video was useful, and if you're looking for more help on how to grow your calligraphy business, check out this video on the 10 ways you can make money with calligraphy, and then also this one on how to invoice your clients. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!